right. Boy, Titusville Summer Theater, always up to something. It doesn't have to be in the summer for you guys to be doing something and working on something fun. And we've got Stephanie Cicero joining us, Jerry Knickerbocker. Good morning. Good to see you guys this morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in. Well, where would you like to start?
Oh, we have a lot of things in the works. The first one coming up is our Veterans Day program that we will do on Friday, November 11th.
So that's next week.
Yes.
A week from tomorrow. Wow. Okay, so how did this come about?
I think possibly because last summer we were unable to do a show, and we figured we wanted to do something. We're performers, and we wanted to do something, and we thought we haven't done a veteran show for quite some time. We've done a veteran show, if you remember, several years ago. That was back while Eisenhower was still president, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't come to this show, because this show has a totally different format. Stephanie, and I think your father had something to do with coming up with the format for this show, so I'll let you tell about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, my dad was a history teacher, retired, but still gives presentations and everything. So he and I kind of worked together, and I thought it would be cool to make it kind of like as authentic as possible, and the concert goes in the timeline. So basically we're going from 1941 through 1945 when the U.S. was involved in World War II, and we're doing all songs that came out during those years.
Wow.
And my dad had these old records from radio announcements. And so we will hear the actual snippets that you would have heard during those years on the radio announcing these events.
Oh, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So where is this going to take place, and can anybody attend?
Yes, it'll be at the YMCA. And yes, absolutely, anybody can come. Tickets are $5 donation. We will be donating all of the proceeds to a couple different charities. And veterans, of course, will get in for free.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you had this idea. I would assume people thought this was great and jumped on board probably pretty quick, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, let's backtrack a little bit with Titusville Summer Theater. Do you want to mention some of the board members who are part of the organization?
Yes, well, we have a longtime board members, many of us, Kathy Perkins, of course, Gloria Taylor. We've been going for forever, and let's see, Karen Kochen, Lane Fortney, help me out.
Bernadette.
Oh, Bernadette Barnes, yes.
And then we kind of have like the new crew with myself, yes. Abby Preston, Mariah, James. So we've got, and Amy. Yes. From Roxado Conservatory.
Oh,
so
wow, okay.
We've in the last couple months have had quite a big turnover, and some new people and new ideas coming to the board.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. And then there's such a rich history and tradition with Titusville Summer Theater. Are there opportunities like this that you look for throughout the year, or is that something that's really exciting to this crop of board members now, where it's like, okay, we can do other events other than just what happens in the summer?
Yeah, I think that's, especially between COVID and then not being able to do a show this past year, I think that's kind of the direction that we're definitely going in, is seeing how, just trying to reach different people and get some different events going on, and doing more than just one show in the summer.
Yeah. Stephanie, you direct shows at the school level, and just to see the talent that comes up every year is incredible. When you look around and you see like Roxado and Bridge Studios and all these things happening, the Barrow, the Academy, the talent here in Northwest Pennsylvania really is amazing.
It is, and it's very exciting to have those two studios in town now. That has helped a lot. Like, I've seen it just within the schools, that it's helped a lot to get more students involved and get more of that training out there.
Yeah, and when it comes to the musical side of things, there's so many opportunities for students now who might not have the resources to purchase an instrument or to take lessons. There's some funding out there. There's programs available. You can get an instrument in somebody's hands now easier than you could years ago.
Yes. Yes, we definitely can. And in fact, this year is one of our largest band programs that we've ever had.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you and others in the music department, Jerry, as somebody who's now looking in from the outside, that's got to make you happy to see that there's so much energy and excitement and talent.
Wonderful, because we've had times when we had to sit back and just try to figure out how to get an instrument to a child. We've almost always succeeded, but it's been very difficult. So it's much, much better now.
Are you finding that students are coming to you saying, "Hey, I think I want to play this," and you go, "Okay, we've never had that," or okay, or you're now one of 4 that want to do that? I was just thinking, like, even when I was going through school, it was odd for somebody to play guitar in the band, right?
Yes.
But now that's a normal thing to see.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of students that, are very interested in guitar and piano. And, we're adapting some of that into, our ensembles as we can.
How much of this, and this is kind of out there, but how much of this is sort of just the idea that over the last however many years, there's been, I don't want to say good PR, but there's been a lot of great things that have been pushed to promote the arts. That, and I always think about the guy that's carving a log or an ice sculpture. The big grizzly looking guy. He's got to. I'm not an artist, and then he carves something amazing. It's like, no, you are. That's
correct.
And the mindset sort of has changed where, oh, I do enjoy this. This is something that I should be proud of.
For sure. And I think one of the things that did come out of COVID is, how much we need the arts. And, that's what so many people turned to during those times when we were all stuck inside and couldn't, do what we normally would do is, we turned to different forms of art.
During that time for you, that had to have been, okay, you must have been going through a ton of ideas, right?
Oh,
a ton of, looking at shows. If I was going to direct this, boy, here's a scene I really would like to do. Do you have like a whole bunch of notes on those ideas, or
quite a few? Yes,
because you're a very creative person.
Thank you.
And if you see, if you watch any of your shows, I mean, they're amazing. And how you get you're in education, so you are always striving to get the best out of kids. But it really shows on the stage like that. Jerry, for you again, retired teacher as well, and I know that's what was deep down in your heart, trying to get the best out of the students. I don't really have a question with that. I'm just throwing that out there. It's a lot of work.
A lot of work, but it's very rewarding. You don't always succeed, but you can always gain something. You can always move forward a little bit.
You have seen that transition from the student to the adult where they come back and perform in summer theater, right? I'm not going to ask how many times you've seen that, but
I have grandparents.
What is that like for you to see that, though?
That's so much fun. I have students down in Clarion, where I first started teaching. I have former students who could be 80 years old now. And when I see these people and talk to some of them, many of them remember what we've done in the past, things that meant so much to them, and that makes the teaching and the difficult times that we had in teaching, and we always have some, but it makes it well worth it.
I'm sure you're both of you, proud of those who go on to continue their education and in music, for instance. And there seems to be a lot that have done that in the last handful of years. But it's also got to be just as gratifying to see those who go into something else, but then show up for an audition for summer theater or, some sort of a show. Just to, they took something away from that experience.
Right.
So that has to be wonderful to see too, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's always exciting when you can just see that, it meant something to them,
Right.
and, that they love it enough to want to continue.
How many folks are involved in this production? This is a Veterans Day musical salute that's coming up on November 11th at 7 p.m. Was it sort of picking up the phone and calling some people, or did you have to do an audition process?
No, we didn't do an audition. We put it out there on Facebook that anybody that wanted to join us was more than welcome. All of the board members, of course, are singing, and I reached out to people that I knew had been on the stage in the past, and just tried to find as many people as I could.
Are you able to just mention some of the numbers you're going to be performing?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Maybe
Many-
Jerry, instead of just naming it, maybe you should sing the title.
Maybe
too
let's,
early for
let's
that? Too
name
early?
them. Let's just name them, yes. Now, I must say, this show means a lot to me. I'm in a much different position than Stephanie is because this is the music I grew up on. And these recordings that she has are recordings that I remember hearing because my grandparents were glued to the radio all during World War II. And it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain living during that time. But these radio recordings, as soon as the radio came on, everybody stopped talking because you had to listen to the news. It wasn't like the news today,
Yeah.
where you get immediate. There was no immediacy then. It was very difficult. As a matter of fact, many of the reporters, yes, who were trying to get back into England, let's say, or someplace to make reports, never made it. It was a very, very difficult time. But anyway,
And throughout this process, just rehearsing, was there a moment you just closed your eyes and listened, to the report into the song? Because I would imagine that would have been just like
yes,
incredible to
it was.
snapshot of your childhood there.
It was. Let's see. Edelweiss, of course, is going to be the whole summer theater board, and This Is My Country, which is wonderful. And we've done that with many, many of our groups in the school. But we have a lot of new songs this year, but you can't do a World War II show without Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company B. And we have that. We're going to have...
You were the fourth Andrews sister, as I recall.
Just about, yes. Yeah. We do have different Andrew sisters than we had for our last show, but we have it's going to be a wonderful trio. Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition. This is one of our favorites, always, and it had such a meaning during that time because the things in the song happened. They were happening then. When the Lights Go On Again, All Over the World Tonight, I'll Be Home for Christmas, Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me. Those are just some of the songs. Glenn Miller medley. And you may want to say something about that because you've got some special things going on during the medley.
Before you do that, let's do this real quick. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Stephanie Cicero with us, Jerry Knickerbocker. Titusville Summer Theater presents a Veterans Day musical salute happening November 11th at 7 p.m. at the Titusville YMCA.
Yeah, so the medley is going to be played by the community band that started at Rock's Auto, the Queen City Community Band. So they're going to be playing that one as well as a few other songs throughout the night. So they're involved. Bridge Studios is going to be playing some songs as well. A Dancer's Reflection is going to have a group dancing during Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. So we have a lot of the groups involved.
That's how important was it for you to get members of the community involved in this?
I mean, that was my biggest thing that I wanted to do was just, reach out to as many people as I could and get all these different groups involved. It's so great that we have them and we want to be able to showcase them and give them an opportunity to perform.
It's a $5 donation. All proceeds benefit local veteran charities. Tickets can be purchased at the Chamber of Commerce, the VFW, American Legion, and the YMCA. And again, it's November 11th at 7 p.m. at the Titusville YMCA. This was an opportunity, it sounds like, to work with your dad on this. How was that?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. We this past weekend went through all the records, and he was marking them, and he's going to have a whole little radio station set up. He's going to get dressed up, and I mean, he's all about it. So it's great. But no, it's been nice. And one of the other things that we're going to be doing this year is a musical lecture series. And
wow.
He has a little company called the History Hobo. And it was actually one of the other board members' ideas to have him come. I, of course, agreed. But
has he always done this?
in the last couple of years, since he retired, that's kind of
okay.
been his main gig, is to give presentations.
I didn't know, like, if he
all
was doing this when
different
you were a
things.
kid, and it was like, oh, Dad, why are you doing this?
I mean, we always got all the stories when I was a kid.
Okay.
So, yeah, but he'll be giving 4 presentations throughout the year. And the first one will be on November 15th. He'll be talking about Hamilton and the musical and the story and history behind the show.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then Titusville Summer Theater's just a couple days away from announcing the big production for this summer.
yes.
And
2
Steph
days
and I
away.
will be directing.
We are directing.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Said show.
Yes.
Okay. But you have to wait. People can go to the Titusville Summer Theater Facebook page?
Yes.
All right. So just a couple days away from that announcement. What's your plea to folks when it comes to the production this summer? I mean, when should folks start planning, say, hey, I want to do this?
Now,
Now.
in 2 days.
That's right.
Once
Okay.
we announce it, we're going to put the dates out, for when the actual production is, when
Okay.
we're planning on starting rehearsals. So, yeah, hopefully people can mark their calendars. And the show does involve kids. I think we can say that much.
Uh-oh.
So,
Uh-oh.
we're hoping to get a lot of families involved. There's a lot of kids whose parents used to
Yes.
perform, and we're hoping that they'll come back out and perform with their kids.
Jerry, I know you've heard this over the years. I don't know if I have the time. Once they commit, once they say yes, and they go to that first rehearsal, you forget about it.
Most of the people, yes. Unfortunately, there are always a very few people who forget about it. Don't come to rehearsals, and they end up not being in the show. And of course, when you're planning on somebody being there, when somebody's committed and you're planning on them, it's very difficult. But the vast majority of the people are just like you had said. Once they start, they don't want to miss.
No, and what happens at the end of it? When's the next one?
That's right.
Ready to go. What are we doing
right.
next? So there is that excitement. Stephanie, for you, I'm sure you're planning for this summer, but what else are you involved in this year?
Well, we've got auditions for the middle school musical coming up. We're going to be doing Newsies Junior in March.
Oh, wow.
So I've got kind of 2 shows that I'm starting to really get into and playing.
But you love it, don't
Oh,
you?
yes, absolutely.
Okay. What was the first show you were ever in?
That I was in
Yeah.
was Children of Eden.
Okay.
So it's because of my dad that I love musicals. He was our stage manager for my high school shows.
wow.
And we, kind of at the last second, realized that they needed a turtle for Children of Eden.
That's how it starts.
So I was in a
That's
green
right.
green sweatsuit, had one of like the old-fashioned sleds that we covered in material, and I crawled out on stage. But that was kind of like my biggest stage moment. I'm usually more of a behind-the-scenes person.
But that was the start of it.
But that was the start of it.
Jerry, do you remember? Did they have a stage then?
A rig
Yes,
stage,
I'm-
yes, definitely. Definitely. No, my first show was actually in high school, and we didn't do musicals then. We did just regular, legitimate theater, as you might call it. And I think The Man Who Came to Dinner might have been my first show.
Did you know you wanted to get into music at that stage?
Oh, I had already planned on becoming a music teacher.
Okay.
My mother was a music teacher.
Oh, okay.
She didn't teach in the schools, but she taught private piano. You'd never know it by hearing me play piano, but she taught private piano, and she taught other things too. So, and had singing groups.
That's wonderful. Titusville Summer Theater presents a Veterans Day musical salute. Let's recap what's going on and when is this all happening?
Yes, Friday, November 11th, 7 p.m. at the YMCA. You can get tickets at the door, $5. Veterans get in for free, and you enjoy an evening of World War II style music.
That's wonderful. That's really exciting. Best of luck with everything. Break a leg? Sure.
That works.
Yes.
What a wonderful program. Again, a Veterans Day musical salute, November 11th, 7 p.m., Titusville YMCA. A $5 donation. All proceeds benefit local veteran charities. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.